Dear students, welcome to this video lecture. Here I introduce two powerful ideologies influencing the economic policy of countries: economic liberalism and economic nationalism. After the Second World War till recently, economic liberalism has been the predominant ideology influencing the economic and trade policies in the Western world. Let me underline some of its key assumptions. Competition, specialization, and exchange are positive sum gains. They increase economic efficiency. Second, state should only have a regulatory role. It should guard against market failure and create a level playing field for all economic actors. Power should be minimally important in economic relations. So what are its policy implications? Economic liberalism prescribed minimal interference of state and economy. The state should exhibit fiscal discipline, take low taxes, and offer fewer subsidies. Public spending should be focused on returns. Secondly, professionals rather than politicians should make economic and policy decisions. Further, it advocated for liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Markets should be open for trade and investments. Exchange rates should be driven by market rather than controlled by the countries, and a state should protect property rights, including intellectual property rights. The ideology of economic nationalism draws from mercantilism, which we studied briefly in our first lecture. According to this ideology, state is the central economic actor. It should act as a market player as well, and influence policies and global institutions to increase the power and wealth of the country. Second, countries compete against one another. It is a zero-sum game. Gains from one country implies the loss of another. Third, economic and political powers are related. Economic power is foundation of the political and military power. At the same time, state should use its military and political power to increase its economic power. So, what are the policy implications of this ideology? First, it advocated export-led growth strategy by countries. For example, economic and trade policies of the US and most Western European countries before the Second World War were influenced by economic nationalism. In the post-war period, countries like Japan, South Korea, China, and Taiwan followed the same ideology. Export surplus helped capital accumulation in these countries. Second, many of these countries followed what we can call state capitalism. State protected home industries by the means of tariff and non-tariff barriers. It built and subsidized infrastructure, invested in public R&D, created SOEs, all these to make its industries globally competitive. Further, the state secured access to raw material, market, and financial capital. And this explains why countries make FTA or free trade agreements and help their state-owned enterprises gain long-term contracts. For example, SNPC, which is Chinese SOE, signed a long-term contract with Gazprom, which is a Russian SOE, to secure the supplies of natural gas from Russia to northern and eastern China. Now let us understand how states follow national economic interests by seeing the case of Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP. I'm leaving 3 videos with you. I want you to watch them and formulate your answers to the questions on the next slide. So I leave you with 2 questions to think about. If time permits, I would like to hear your views on these in the live lecture session. The first question is, why did India pull out of RCEP? What was India trying to gain from joining the RCEP, which it could not? And what were India's fears? Do you think or do you find India's concerns genuine? Do you think that India has missed an opportunity? Right. So this is the first question. Second question, how does RCEP influence the global economic and geopolitical power dynamics? So that is it for this session. See you in the class.